Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So, today is April 18th. It is the Saturday before Boston Marathon, the Marathon Monday. So, Boston this weekend is completely soaked in the marathon spirit. And me and my wife went for a long walk through Boston Common, soaking in the atmosphere. We are back home, and I'm just before getting back home recording this. From in front of the Cambridge courthouse. You probably recognize the building from one of the videos that I recorded here. So let's go ahead, get started for today. Today's dose of Rashmi is intellect operating unconsciously will build boundaries of perceived identity cages around you, and you will live your life based on these identity cages. Integrated intelligence, on the other hand, is breaking free from these perceived identity cages and honoring your individuality fully without being imprisoned by these perceived identity cages. So, for those of you who have followed this series closely, you'll recognize that this is what I described Rashmi as its practice or growth mindset plus plus. This is the layer 3 in action of the Rashmi identity architecture that honor your individuality fully. I'm not preaching complete transcendence beyond self. So honor your individuality, yet recognize that most of what we take up as identity is just a perceived identity. If it is not serving you well, you have the choice to break it. That is how I have envisioned the future from race to conscious grid. If we operate at the traditional growth mindset, while it has served us well, and it is a great way to be and be successful, yet it gets you identified with goals which are based on the identities that you take on, and then you invariably will end up being in a race with somebody else, another group of people who are identified with a different identity cage. So the way a conscious grid emerges and way AI becomes a shared infrastructure platform that drives shared prosperity for all is for more of us to start operating at this layer 3 or growth mindset plus plus and honor our individuality while not being imprisoned by these perceived identity cages. And in the dose of Rashmi today, you would have also noticed the reference to intellect operating unconsciously. And this is a tie back to what I covered yesterday about consciousness, that consciousness can only exist in the present moment, and why AI can never really be conscious because it can never be in the present. And that is why I had come up with this as the journey from intelligence to consciousness. So if you have been following along the last few days, turning back to the origin code, the journey from intelligence to consciousness, and now returning back to the growth mindset plus plus and Rashmi layer 3 identity architecture. So this series is kind of going around and reinforcing some of its core mantras through practical demonstrations and through the various events that I've been part of recently. I feel the momentum is building with what we are building as a product, Rashmi Mirror, as well as the conversations that I am having with other like minded leaders. I can see a path to how the race can transition to a conscious grid, how we can go from the friction economy to regenerative outcome economy. So stay tuned. I'm really excited about everything that is happening. Thank you.